Welcome to today's mystery reveal. Poirot began by questioning Strong Uncle's doctor about possible poisoning, but the doctor just scratched his chin, saying he'd never considered it. The doctor hadn't considered this before the cremation, and now Strong Uncle has turned to smoke. A second check. Don't be ridiculous. Speaking of cremation, Poirot found it a bit interesting since Brits usually prefer burial. Strong Uncle choosing cremation, was he aiming to become fireworks or something? Later, Poirot found Strong Uncle's butler, who claimed although Strong Uncle was in bad shape, he was still very much awake at death's door and wouldn't just drop dead from subtitles. Plus, his mom and Faisal were always there caring for him, a comforting thought until one day Strong Uncle and Faisal had a fierce quarrel. The butler said he had never seen them argue like that before, but he was totally clueless about why. It seems Strong Uncle wanted to modify his will and even showed it to the butler, but the butler's glasses couldn't cope, so he couldn't see a thing. The lawyer chimed in, saying there were multiple copies of the will, but the old butler was adamant Strong Uncle just showed him what they certainly had to rush back for a will check. Eventually, they discovered the lawyer's will was indeed forged, and the forger was clearly very familiar with the Strong Uncle family. This matched their earlier speculation. The killer deliberately forged the will to cover their tracks. It definitely cries family. Maybe out of jealousy. Poirot also questioned Strong Uncle's maid and learned that he treated his sister-in-law, Jin, like royalty. After the funeral, Jin left early the next day and didn't come back until dark. Perhaps she was off buying lottery tickets. Coincidentally, this was when the aunt met her unfortunate end. Meanwhile, in another scene, Xiao Lu was at Auntie's house picking through inherited treasures. Though her aunt was cash poor, her collections were busting at the seams. Xiao Lu had no choice but to crash here for a bit. Out of nowhere, Auntie's ex-husband shows up. I mentioned before that Auntie eloped with a painter when she was young. He's here to authenticate a painting Auntie owned, claiming it's worth a house. But after his inspection, he found it was a fake, a lousy one at that, leaving him dumbfounded, yet he shrugged it off. After all, his ex-wife loved art, but her taste was questionable, and she couldn't tell a real painting from a fake. Miss Jill suddenly received a package containing a wedding cake, but she had no idea who the newlyweds were. Oh well, let's eat. Little did she know she'd have severe pain that night. The doctor found frosting residue in her. She was rushed to hospital. Then Poirot was shocked another victim appeared before solving the case. At that moment, Poirot seemed to have the answer, planning to take Miss Jill to Strong Uncle's estate after she recovers. He even went all the way to London on purpose, specifically inviting Auntie's ex-husband to join him on a trip to the estate in just a few days. Not just these two, Poirot also notified Strong Uncle's entire family, and they happened to stumble upon Actor Bro making out with a lovely lady. But Poirot didn't care about their affairs. He gracefully delivered his message and left. According to British tradition, before selling the house, the family must choose a memento from the old place. So Poirot used that excuse to gather everyone at Strong Uncle's estate except for Strong Uncle's siblings. The brother and sister-in-law rushed over after hearing the estate deed was missing, fearing if the house didn't sell, they wouldn't get their inheritance. They decided to stay until the house sold. Poirot had a few more questions he needed to clear up. He bluntly asked Jin, "So, where did you jet off to after the funeral?" Jin had to admit she spread Strong Uncle's ashes over a marshy area he adored in life. But she was the only one, no witnesses. Poirot stepped outside and casually ran into the brother sunbathing. He noticed the brother was struggling to breathe. Poirot hurried over to ask, realizing the guy not only had mobility issues but also a case of the giggles. Just then, the lawyer found the deed, and right before dinner, the crowd erupted into a squabble over who gets the memento. Everyone tried to snatch the most valuable items, creating an extremely awkward atmosphere. Miss Jill attempted to lift spirits by complimenting the dining table. Subtitles, however, the actress misunderstood and directly confronted her, thinking she was trying to take over the table. After the dinner was over, everyone started chatting and brought up the topic of mirrors. If you could truly see yourself, it'd be pointless, because no one truly sees their real selves or looks like anyone else, apparently. Everyone only sees a mirrored version of themselves. Their conversation made Jin deep in thought, while the actress stumbled upon a will while fiddling with a model house. Upon opening it, they found that Strong Uncle specified all his inheritance was to go to his nephew, Faisal. Everyone realized that while they usually laughed it off, they were panicking at the thought of Strong Uncle leaving everything to Faisal. especially Strong Uncle's brother, who flat out claimed that this must be fake, that the previously read one was the genuine article. Later that night, Jin pondered alone by the mirror only to have an epiphany. She raced downstairs. She tried to tell her lawyer, but was knocked out from behind and hospitalized. The next morning, everyone gathered for breakfast, and shockingly, no one mourned for Jin's misfortune, but instead debated last night's will. That will must be a fake. Faisal couldn't take it anymore and blurted out that the will was, in fact, real. The lawyer's reading was fake. She forged it herself. Everyone was stunned, unaware why. Meanwhile, Poirot seemed to understand something, stepping out to question Faisal, discovering Strong Uncle had revealed an unthinkable secret before